Welcome back to Blues Focus. I'm Josh. This is Kieran. We're here to talk to you today about the transfer rumours regarding the last 24 hours of the transfer window to Birmingham City. As you've just seen today, it's been very busy, so we'll just go ahead and get straight into it and go from there on some of the new income potentials and some of the players that we spoke about the other day and see if we can get any further updates on what's going on with them. So, do you?
First, we'll talk about Cody Drammer from Leeds, rumoured by at The Athletic. 21-year-old, played for England under 21s, so a little bit of experience in that sort of camp. Valued at around the £3.5 million mark, so very, very doubtful to be a permanent move. More looking at a loan. It's between us and West Brom from what we've read. Last season did all right. 32 games. He scored 1 goal and 5 assists, which is quite good for a defender. 13 clean sheets as well.
I think what he brings to the club as well is you've got to look at the way that we've used Laird for the first couple of games. Is he's a very strong, very fast tackling defender, Laird is. And Cody Drammer is very much the same kind of player, but the same age, the same kind of style. And I think whilst Laird's out injured the next couple of weeks, we can come back after international break with a full squad. I think for the next couple of weeks, we've got the potential of bringing someone young in that can just fill that place and give him a challenge rather than...
Yeah, and it'd be like a direct replacement for the rest of the team as well. So that'd be quite good in terms of linking up. It should be able to just slot straight in. And
obviously, Marcel Oakley played against Cardiff on Tuesday. Didn't start the game the best, but he grew into it. But I just don't quite think he's 100% at that level yet at the moment for Championship. I think maybe send him out on loan, just get him some of that more experience. He had a good season last year in Scotland. Give him another loan.
Yeah,
bring in Drammer on loan just to give him that
we did see quite a bit of him being overwhelmed at the beginning of that game, and against some of the bigger clubs that you come up against in the Championship or hard battling clubs. I think someone like Millwall, for example, he's just going to be
100%
overwhelmed a little bit at the moment, but the potential's there for sure with him. But bringing someone in like Drammer, you're going to have that direct competition with someone.
I think even if you keep Oakley in the squad and around Drammer and Laird, I think you build his ability up that way because he learns from them, and he's already said it in an interview the other day that he's learned a lot from Laird already in his playing style, and he was trying to adapt that, and you saw it towards probably the end of the Cardiff game, him picking up them roles, but at the beginning it was just too much to start off, and I think we need to be bringing someone in that's gonna be straight in there. Like you said, last year he played Cardiff, he's played at Luton, very consistently playing, so he knows the level and he knows what is needed in the league to get up. So
and he's so highly rated by a lot of people out there as well. You're seeing on Twitter, a lot of people are excited. But at Hub Football UK, especially, they said we could actually end up this window with the 2 best right backs in the league.
I can't remember the last time anyone said that Birmingham City would end the transfer window with one of the best defenders in the league. Let alone looking at the start we've probably got the best left back in the league with Buchanan, unreal start. Sanderson and Long now clicking. If we bring in Awu, which we're all anxiously waiting for the announcement now, after understanding his medical's been passed, but waiting for him to come in. That gives us 3 solid centre halves with Mark Roberts. Whatever happens with him, maybe it gives him the kick at the backside to start playing properly against Cardiff. He looked awful. But then you got 2 right backs coming in. That's a solid defence. And I can't remember the last time anyone said that we had a good defence coming into a league.
It's exciting times because we've struggled to score goals in the last few seasons, especially, but also leaked a lot of goals from stupid mistakes. Now, we're not saying that we're going to get, Man City style players here, but hopefully a little bit more solid at the back. And a lot more squad depth as well, especially in the back, which is needed because we're quite thin. Like 7 out of the 21 senior players so far this season
missed a game due to injury. Yeah, it's very much one of those. I know, obviously, you look at Miyoshi last season with Royal Antwerp, had a serious injury. Tyler Roberts is known for his injuries, so it's hopefully bringing him into a stage where get past that injury, get him fully fit. We've obviously got 2 weeks after Millwall on Saturday of international breaks. That is the time to be bringing in, getting Bielik back 100%, Anderson 100%, Laird, Dembele due back after. Getting Roberts back to some sort of fitness. Obviously, we've heard today George Hall's now going to be out for 4 weeks. with his fourth hamstring injury since April, it might be a bit of one of those where I'd give him 6 to 8 weeks out, let him recover that injury properly, try not to push him back in. Obviously, leading on to George Hall, as bad as it is his injury, but contract extension.
Yeah, that huge talks about that. Is the injury the reason they're not going for him, do you reckon? Because he is that 4 injuries in a calendar year.
It could be that, or is it because obviously boyhood club wants to stay here, but is it because if he goes and gets that big move, like we've obviously seen today, Liverpool, Everton, West Ham, Tottenham, there's big Premier League squads after him, but is it one of those because you come from Birmingham, you're going to get compared to Jude again? We've seen it with a few players that have come through the academy. It's, but Jude's doing this and JJ's getting slated for.
Yeah.
Does George want to make himself, okay, I'm a good player at Birmingham. Look, if I go to a big club, I'm not just doing it because Jude's done it. Is that way on his mind? Could it potentially be?
I think there's potential. It's that. There's a mix between that and probably wanting more game time. He's picked up a few injuries. He's not really being able to show off what he can do. We've seen it in little bits. Or is it the fact that the project, man? Like,
could be.
It's bigger.
I said to you at the Cardiff game the other day, if you look at George Hall's physical appearance, it looks like over the summer period he's gone and bulked himself up. Because last couple of years he's been known for his pace, he's known for his skill, but he's very easy to push off the ball. And I think if you want to deem yourself as a championship player, you need to bulk up. And he's come back. He showed that pace against Cardiff. Unfortunately, he got injured, but he's bulked and he looks the player now. And I think,
and remember when Jude came in when he first started playing with us, he was quite slim. He was being pushed off the ball. His brain was there, but his body wasn't at the time. And then George Hall is now. He's stacked. He's big. Yeah. We saw him and we were like, whoa, he's like Isaac Passau big.
I think also, though, you look at players like Anderson. Anderson's quite a big guy himself, and he's big and he's fast and he can use that. I think George Hall get past this injury and sort it out, and I reckon he could be just as dangerous as Anderson has been with us, and that gives us that backup on that right wing. Or even replacing Dembele if he gets into that left wing, it gives us that strong, fast player either side that are going to make defences terrified.
And this is the thing with this transfer window. We brought in a lot of players, but some of them are brittle, to say the least.
Miyoshi, the first game I watched of Miyoshi, and he got flung off the ball about 10 yards.
But then he ran past that defender and he just moved him out of the way against Cardiff, and it was like this defender was huge and he was tiny.
Miyoshi's just a different player. I think it's one of those. I don't think he quite expected against Swansea what the championship would be like. Took a few big hits, but since then, absolutely unreal. Like, he's probably one of the best signings, I'd say. My personal, one of my favourite signings of the summer.
Yeah, him and for me, Dembele is just, every time that guy touches the ball, you're like, something's happening. So that's exciting.
Buchanan, again, like I mentioned earlier, unreal. Solid player, but as we've got also rumoured from Mirror Sport, we've got Oliver Burke potentially also coming from Werder Bremen.
Yeah. We just watched the highlights actually of them coming back against Borussia Dortmund last year, when both Buchanan and Burke scored 2 pretty good goals actually.
The problem I think you got to look at with Burke is he started his career with West Brom quite young, and he was given such a big, the next Gareth Bale he was looking at, and he didn't quite live up to it, and then he was just binned off to someone else. He spent the last 2 seasons at Millwall, and I've read quite a few things that their fans aren't the hype for him. But I've seen him play a few times, and I think he's got a lot of talent, and in the right team and the right manager, I think Eustace can bring that potential out of him again and have him flying.
The big thing for us is he's versatile again. Our front, probably 6 players are all versatile. They can all play. He's known to play right wing, left wing, centre forward. Mix that with Dembele,
Stansfield can drop into that cam. It could be a dangerous attack going forward, and obviously we've got the new line now, Messi and centre defensive mid in Sunjit. Absolute unreal this season so far with Bielik.
Like a new signing, so we can talk about him.
But against Cardiff, we watched obviously Sunjit playing that game, and without Bielik there, he did look a bit lost.
Yeah, he did.
He needed that experienced head next to him, of the person that could talk to him. He did a few things that you'd sit there going, you haven't been doing that so far. So hopefully it's not him sliding back into it, and it's just maybe someone like Bielik next to him that keeps him in this game, but
makes him prime Iniesta.
But some of the passes he's been making this season are unreal. Like you said, it's like a new signing.
But it's not even just like some of the good passes; it's the little passes that he's actually making successful passes now, which is a big thing for us. But that's also, I think, because the players we brought in and around him are giving him options now, rather than it just being good old Mark Roberts long ball.
Yeah.
We're actually seeing something actually happening in the middle now, rather than Bielik, than Sunjic just having to run around and tackle everybody.
Yeah, I think the one thing that's massively changed with Sunjic, though, is, as you're saying, he's not just diving into tackles anymore. So he's now, like we said it before, he's going in for them tackles, and every player knows Sunjic, we should go and dive into that. And then he just stands his ground, he just takes the ball and pops off and runs.
There was a bit against Leeds, where he was running at the player, and I was like, oh no. And he literally ran up, and I think even the Leeds player understood what Sunjic is like, because he kind of backed off, and then Sunjic just ran away with the ball. It was like he just passed it in.
And then 5 minutes, we were talking, 5 minutes later, he gets the ball on the left-hand side, and he's just flicking the ball over players' heads like he is prime Iniesta. And we're sort of going, who's this guy in the field? But yeah, Oliver Burke, obviously, rumours have been the last couple of weeks he's been going to QPR. That seems to have now fell through, and he's back on the way to the Midlands. As I said, 26-year-old Scottish international. I think with Eustace behind him, I think Burke could be a quality signing. I know there's a lot of obviously difference online, and people say things and you hear things, but I think he's just another squad player to put into depth.
Squad player for sure, especially with the rumours that potentially Cosgrove's off.
Yeah,
I think he's a proven goal scorer. He hasn't really hit the heights, but proven goal scorer, someone that we can bring in as a squad player and maybe help train some of the youngers as well to where they need to be.
As you mentioned, Cosgrove, I will mention that we did see some early potential. He could be off to Charlton. There's Derby, and there's 2 or 3 other teams that could be looking at him. Looking at around £1 million figure, but obviously, a lot of football now being undisclosed. It's not 100% guaranteed now. But he looks like he's set to leave on a permanent, which I think it's unfortunate. I think the guy should have had a bit more chance to actually play. I know a lot of people got on his back, but he hasn't really had the best.
He come on for what, 10 minutes at the end of the Cheltenham game? It's Cheltenham Town, but no offence to Cheltenham Town fans out there, but it's he didn't stop. He caused problems. He got the ball in. He won his headers.
But you look at as well, he was at Plymouth last season. Yeah, okay, it's League One. Plymouth come up to the Championship. They give us a really good game the other day. He scored 14 goals for them and then got injured and spent half the season out injured. But he's still 14 goals.
Yeah.
If he was given the chance at Birmingham with the delivery that we're getting now, he could probably get 14 goals.
Yeah. I mean, he missed an absolute sitter the other day, let's be honest.
But absolute sitter. But
3 yards out.
But when you've got no confidence and the fans are on your back, it's kind of expected. Obviously, we wish him, if he does leave, we wish him all the best. But if he stays, and hopefully then he comes in and he does a job.
Potential off to some Scottish clubs as well. There's a few interested. I think he'd like to stay local rather than moving back. You got Kilmarnock, and I think it was Motherwell were the other team that were interested in him.
I think somewhere like Charlton or Derby, though, just drop him back down to that League One, where you're going to be looking at mid-table to playoff team. I think that's no offence to the guy. I think he's got the ability, but I think that's where he's best at.
Yeah, and to go and get that that run in League One and really smash it up, or even a lower end Championship team that have just maybe come up from there.
Sheffield Wednesday or something like that maybe aren't started the best, but someone like that, I think he goes into that. I did read some earlier. I'm not going to trust how true it is, but potential that Djukovic might be going to Derby if they're looking for a last-minute striker. But again, I can't see Djuki going. I think he's solid Blues. We obviously seen the news yesterday that Blues aren't going to appeal his red card. So I said 3-match ban, so he is going to be out until the QPR game. But I think them 3 games are going to be vital for someone like Hogan and Stansfield to prove that they should be starting ahead of Djuki. He's out now, so
I mean, he's out for a few games. Hogan has scored 2 goals.
Yeah,
he scored a 1-on-1.
It was a very nice finish of the day, straight into the keeper's legs,
and a 1-on-1. So that was one in pre-season and one now. So maybe he's been working on that because that's one area I think when he's got time to think about where he's shooting, he messes up.
Yeah. I think it was as well nice to see you look at the was a Plymouth game the other day where he scored, and he was very much the old Hogan we know. That ball's coming in from Miyoshi, and he's in the box and he's going for it. A lot the last couple of seasons, that ball's been put in the box, and he's too lazy to stand it into the box. I think now the fact that we've brought in players like Stansfield, we've got Stansfield, we've got Dembele, we've got Anderson coming in that potentially could push him out of the team. I think that's now got a weight on his shoulders, and he's got to look at that and go, okay, you know what? I need to actually start working again.
But then also, he can now be that deadly in the box striker that he is. He's not a striker that runs back, tracks back, and then does it. I mean, he does his fair bit of chasing in the games, but
I think he does too much sometimes, though. And that makes him lazy. So he'll keep chasing balls all day, and then he starts getting too many offsides, or he starts getting lazy and he doesn't want to track that. I think he needs to balance how much he's pressing and how much he's laying off and timing them runs, because he's getting on his 30 odd something now, but he has still got pace. And a lot of defenders in the league are older. He would be out pacing them. He just needs to time them runs a little bit better.
That in the box area where he's lethal, he's one of the best in there. But you got people like that ball from Miyoshi the other day. Finish that. That is his.
It was nice to see him throw himself at it as well. Like I noticed last season or last couple of years. He'd have gone for it, realised he weren't getting it, and just stopped. And then thrown his arms in the air. I didn't get. It was nice to see him throwing himself at the ball. If the chance if that keeper didn't get it, he was putting that in the back of the net. Yeah. Obviously, he did. So, obviously, we spoke the other day about a few other players that potentially might be coming in. We've got Jonathan Panzo still very much there for coming in from Nottingham Forest on a loan.
Yeah.
Obviously, as you said, it was with Coventry last season in the playoffs. Sam Nombe was another guy we mentioned. I've seen today that he's gone to Rotherham, so that one's out the window. So we won't bring in Jay Stansfield partner in, but
won't be talking about him.
He's a good player. He's fast. He can finish. And I definitely think when we play Rotherham, he has got to be a player that we've got. Sanderson and Long have got to keep their eye on because he is dangerous.
Can we just say about Long as well? Like that guy's solid as well. We brought him in. He didn't play many games last season.
He had a tough start.
He had a very shaky start.
Very shaky start, but he hadn't played football for nearly 2 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of Blues fans at the time, obviously nowadays it's a bit different, but this year it's a bit different. They were very much on his back straight away. And I think that got to him at first. He's a bit nervous coming back in. But this season, he's unreal. He's solid at the back with Dion. Obviously bringing Dion in as well.
Yeah.
Captain Sando. He's doing an absolute wicked job with the team, and he seems to have got them all lined up how they need to be. He's got them organised, and the communication with them all is going really well.
You did see that a little bit waver in that game the other day. We had a few, like Oakley, for example, didn't really fit into the mould that we've kind of got at the back. Yeah. And it left a little bit of weakness. That's why I think we do need a more experienced person there, and to bring that in. So it's exciting times. I think we'll be able to keep a fair few more clean sheets.
Yeah.
We're now bringing in a few squad players. I don't think anybody's coming in and knocking Sanderson and Long out of the centre back.
No, the only thing that bothers me is obviously with the style of player we played last couple of seasons is someone like Awu coming in who is a quality centre half on that right side. Does that open up to go and wing backs? And then obviously, as we saw the other day, Cardiff, Longello had a very poor defensive side, but his attacking is really good.
Yeah, he's a wing back or a winger.
Yeah, I'd even go push it, look at him in like centre midfield. He can get the ball, he can turn, and he'll run past players. But I think the only way that Longello fits in that mould is if that is a back three with the two wing backs. He can play that wing back position so someone's covering him. Does Awu come in and go onto that right side of the three, and we play the five at the back, or is it something that this year Eustace is looking at going, no, we've got to go with four and stick with the four, and unfortunately he's going to upset players and people have got to take it.
I mean, stick to what's working, and so far we've got one of the best defences in the league.
We've got the actual lowest goals to conceded per game for the season at the moment. So we're somewhere like third on the list to concede the least amount of goals. So something's got to be working. And like I said the other day, people had us to finish 23rd, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Early days, but we are currently third in the championship. We could potentially be going to the international break in the playoffs. So our 2 weeks of solid training where we're losing Etheridge, Jordan, James, and Bakuna, which congratulations to them three, getting their international call-ups. But I think it gives Eustace that 2 weeks to get everyone's fitness back and get a plan going and work out and just come back in the after international break and just smash it.
I really hope this international break works out for JJ. He was on fire pre-season.
Yeah.
And he had a bit of a bad game the other day. But it wasn't horrendous, but then people have jumped all over his back. So I think that's out of order, really.
I think the problem is the position he's playing. He's not a winger all day.
Yeah.
Soon as you watch that last 10 minutes where he dropped into that CDM position, he looked more comfortable to get the ball to play. I think he could have a good season if he's
played right.
If he's being played with Sunjit or Bielik in that defensive role just in front of the back four, I think that's where he works best.
Or even he can slot into a cam because he can see passes and he can make the passes, but he's not a winger. I don't think he's got the engine to be a winger.
No.
Like, he was blowing quite a bit. And
there's a few of them where, but I think we've had 5 games so far this season. And you look at Long and Sanderson so far played every minute of every game.
Yeah.
And you could tell that on Long the other day. He went for a run and basically fell over because he was just that tired from running.
You've got Bakker did the same, didn't he?
Bakuna's, as much as I think he does too much sometimes, he needs to get his head up and look at them passes. I think he's worked his socks off the last couple of weeks, especially playing that right back position the other day.
Yeah.
Not his formation. He was a bit shaky at the start, but then he grew into the game again and had a good game.
I think he's going to have a bit of a redemption arc as well, where he's going to come in with these better players around us. You can already see he's liking it, but like in the game the other day, he didn't have those people making those runs in front of him. So I think he felt like he had to do it all himself, and he didn't. But the problem is he was looking up for balls and expecting like Laird to be over in the corner, and there was nobody there because Oakley was staying back.
Yeah, I think we had that when we went to Cardiff the other day. It was very much, you can tell the style of play they're playing. Sanderson looked at one point and he looked for Anderson down that corner and there was just no one there.
Yeah, and then he looked the other way, there's nobody there, where you got someone like Dembele and Laird on it. They're both on the touch lines. They're hugging that white line.
Yeah.
And they're always there for that out ball or for general like spreading the play. They're there. But I think that's where we were lacking with against Cardiff the other day. We didn't play like we were at home, to be honest. No. We played instantly on the defence, and I think that was the worst thing for us.
All I can say about Cardiff as well is you look at, we played with the home team. There's 11,000 fans or something there the other day, and we were quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of shocked me. I thought we'd be up for it. The most tickets we've sold for a cup game for years, and we were quiet. Cardiff brought probably 300-400, and they were loud all game, and that was the difference. I think if we were behind the team, it makes it a bit more of a frightening place to come.
What I don't understand is the amount of people fighting for tickets at home on Saturdays, huge. Then yes, we had a record sale for a cup match for the first few years, but the atmosphere wasn't the same. You can tell that from actually before we came out, when the music started playing, the clap was half-hearted, there was no keep right on.
Yeah. Although I've got to say, obviously Blues fans that are down there every day, every week even, the new slow keep right on just as the players have come out the tunnel, I think that is going to be very vocal now of, that's where we need to get behind that slow keep right on.
And the la-la-las.
And get it going and get the crowd bouncing and get it. I think you look at Leeds when we come out to the flames, we come out to fireworks, we come out to a big flag. To me, that's got to be a standard every game. Because that to me got the crowd going against Leeds. Plymouth, obviously you weren't. They had the fire, they didn't have the flag, they didn't have the fireworks. The crowd seemed a bit unheartened by it. It just seemed, it was loud when we got that winner. That was absolute scenes. But we've got the best transfer window we've had in as long as I've been supporting them, for 20 odd years
Mm-hmm.
that I've ever known. We've got new owners that come in that are willing to invest a lot of money. We've got a team that want to play for us. We need the fans to be doing the same thing and backing the players. Home, away. It's all right to allow away games, but it's pointless not doing it at home, where we're going to have the higher advantage.
We need to bring our, like, so many people say we are one of the best away travelling fans, like we were so loud, all that sort of stuff. Doesn't always equate to home.
No.
Yes, we got a half-empty stadium, and that isn't going to help. But then thinking about having a full stadium, let's get that rocking. Let's get the half a stadium rocking. Like that Leeds game, obviously, I was there. One of the best atmospheres I've been in. That was exciting. I had goosebumps. I couldn't speak for about 3 days after.
I think the problem as well is, I know there's a fair few of them out here that the lower Tilton guys, they're in the cop, they're in the family stand, we're spread around at the moment. And I understand everybody knows that Tilton is where the music comes from, where the singing comes from. And once everyone is back in the Tilton, I think that it becomes a dangerous place. But then we need the Gil Merritt to keep going with the singing. We need the cop to keep singing. We need the family stand to getting a load of families in. And I'm hearing them more than I'm hearing the cop sometimes. And we sat there one of the games last season. And we were like, is that the family stand singing?
Yeah,
and we were shocked that the family stand were loudest in the ground. And I think that's what we need all around. We need just everyone to get behind and go.
Yeah, and shout out to Block 13. The singing, we were loud, we were bouncing. It was good. In terms of rounding out, I think we do need a few more players.
Yeah.
Whether we save a few of the loan spaces for January,
that's what I'd do.
I think let's find out what we've got. See if we can get in a few more. Maybe one person on loan. Keep a couple for January. And then we can really explore with what specifically we need at that point. I
don't know if someone else can elaborate in, obviously, your comment section and stuff like that, what we could talk about. I seen someone put up earlier that AWU hasn't been announced yet because they're waiting on a visa. But I thought there was this new rule where we can sign players without a visa, like we did with Miyoshi. And he's allowed to come and play and work. I thought you allowed 4 a season, but I read something earlier, apparently we can't announce AWU because he's got this visa sorted. But surely we
they're
can
holding out, man. Like, I just think tomorrow is going to be a crazy day to be a Blues.
Talking about tomorrow, as a Blues focus point, we are going to be live between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. to do a deadline day live with you guys. We will talk about all the Birmingham incoming, outgoing rumours, as well as just the genuine transfer day and get it all out of the way. We will also then potentially be doing a video between 10:30 and 11:30 just to sum up the transfer deadline day, the transfer in general, have a discussion about how we think Birmingham City are going to go forward, and basically just get your guys' opinions on where you think we're at and what your expectations are going to be up until January when we can open it up again. But that'll be 7 till 9 tomorrow. That's going to be live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So check into one of those and watch with us.
Oh,
hang on.
What are they just tweeted?
So Birmingham have just another one.
We are literally watching the announcement video live.
Someone has been announced. Let's find out who it is. I want to say AWU.
The National Air Traffic.
I want to say Emmanuel AWU has potentially just been announced. Or set to be announced. We'll just wait on a couple of minutes, just the fact of.
That's literally just come up on my phone. It lit up whilst we sat here, and
so we're keeping on because obviously that was posted
8 minutes ago. See you soon, Emmanuel.
Emmanuel AWU has joined Birmingham City.
As we are sat here right now, that has just come up.
Yeah. So obviously, great signing to be bringing in.
Yeah. Welcome, Emmanuel. Welcome to the project. Big news.
Yeah, that is big news. Obviously, couldn't have timed it any better. But yeah, I think he's going to bring a lot to the club, and I think that once he gets going and once he starts playing and he settles in well, I think he's going to be strong for us. And like I said earlier, I think we can have one of the best defences.
Can we now just shout out to the air traffic control in the UK? Just don't care about any other planes. Can we get him over here, please? That'd be great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
We're really helpful. But yeah, as you heard, AWU has announced I believe, for what we read the other day, it's going to be a £3 million sign. Obviously, we'll get more information out to you guys as soon as we know. But as for this video, we will let you go. As I said, watch tomorrow between 7 and 9. We'll be live on social media platforms regarding the transfer deadline day. And keep updated with ourselves. Please follow us on all social media at Blues Focus. And as mentioned the other day, we have got a Twitch channel coming soon for live watch longs for you guys that can't be at the games. We'll be happy to get you to join us and hear your comments. So from me, so thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye. Keep right on, guys.
Keep right on.